Hello? Hello. Great, we're rolling. I promise I'm not strangely proportioned. I just have the fisheye lens going on. Let me check my levels here. Am I peaking? I don't think I'm peaking. Every time I film a video outside, I have to fight the sun because I simply cannot get up early in the morning to do shoots alone. The sun is setting. Let's get a shot of the sunset. View this way. That's kind of nice. I feel like I just want to talk. So I thought that maybe I would just talk in this one. My crippling fear of other people watching me make YouTube videos is one that I feel like I need to get over if I want to continue making stuff like this. When you're younger, you like comic strips for the funny jokes that are in them. So when I was like a younger kid, I really enjoyed Garfield comics and Peanuts and Calvin and Hobbes and The Far Side. But as I get older, I start to realize that these are all very drastically different comic strips. I've been reading a lot of Calvin and Hobbes lately, and I had a bit of a Garfield phase a few years ago, and I feel like those comic strips could not be more different in their approach to telling a joke or getting their point across. Something you notice really early on if you start reading Garfield from the beginning is that Garfield was really only interested in telling you one joke, which is that he's a fat cat and he hates Mondays. And there's nothing wrong with that joke, but you really only get one dimension of Garfield, despite that comic strip running for I think like 40 years now. But Calvin and Hobbes, you learn a lot of different facets of these characters through their dialogue, and while they might repeat jokes every week, or, they have standbys, Calvin will always show gross stuff to Susie, Hobbes will always attack Calvin as he comes home, Calvin will always yell at his mom for making him take a bath, right? But it's through these tropes and devices that Bill Watterson uses that he gets at much larger issues, right? Like, Calvin is such a great representation of childhood because he's asking questions. He's questioning authority always, right? Whereas Garfield just hates Mondays and John. I think artistically you can get the same out of Calvin and Hobbes and Garfield, right? I think all art, you can get whatever you want to take out of it, right? I just think that in approach, Calvin and Hobbes takes the cake of really fleshing out these characters, whereas Garfield really sticks to their archetype, right? John will always be mad at Garfield, Garfield will always be resentful of John, Garfield will always be hungry, Odie will always be stupid, Nermal will always be devious. These are all things that stay the same, whereas Calvin is multifaceted, where yeah, he will always show gross stuff to Susie. There are moments when he feels bad for Susie, and there are moments when he likes Susie. You can tell he's hiding his flattery when she sends him a Valentine, right? Let's go a little bit more this way. Oh. I think the silhouette is a good way, so you can see the sunset with me. I love sunsets. I've recently grown an appreciation for sunlight in a way that I never have before. I used to live in Southern California. I grew up there with this notion that blue skies are really annoying and regular, right? People dream of sunny California, and yeah, it's lovely. But living there your entire life, you don't get that much variation in weather. Now I live in Oregon, where I've been told that if you don't like the weather here, just wait 15 minutes. I've heard this saying said about many other cities that have varying climates, and I think that's kind of beautiful. And now I'm just wondering, how do I apply that to, everyday life? Like, if I don't like a situation, can I just wait 15 minutes? And the answer is no. I feel like life has a more Southern California approach to it. You can't just wait it out. And if you do, eventually it'll change. And you'll feel it hit if you don't do anything, much more drastically. I'm sure most things end for the better, but I find that passive approach really difficult to actually take. The sunset is pretty, though. Now that I've moved away from the sun, every time I can see an ounce of blue sky, I actually appreciate it quite a bit more. I feel like before they had chairs, people must have had a lot of back pain. I wish I was really good at one video game, on the level of the Tetris World Championship players, of really solid gameplay. But I find myself mediocre at every game that I play, and I know that that's my fault. I don't put necessarily that much time into any of the video games that I play unless I'm actively trying to, 100% complete them. I also find the art of just grinding out games rather tedious, but I just wish I could successfully speedrun one game. I got into Mario Odyssey speedrunning for a while, but that kind of hit a dead end, and I could not beat it under 3 hours, which is really embarrassing. And I practiced a lot, but definitely not the amount of, like, Twitch streamers, you know? Maybe I'll start Twitch streaming. But then everyone would see how bad at video games I am. And that, at the end of the day... oh god, I almost slipped into the... That, at the end of the day, is more embarrassing to me than being just secretly bad at video games. You know, publicly bad at video games is something I don't think that I could live down, frankly. And that scares me. But I wish I was, like, really good at, like, one game. What's a game that no one has played before? There was this Flash game on the disc 2 of the Monsters, Inc. DVD that I used to do as fast as I could if I got bored on my little DVD player. But I don't think there's much competition for that. Maybe I have a world record for the Monsters, Inc. disc 2 DVD game. It, like, has doors. I can't really remember how you play it, but I got pretty good at that one. Is Andrew Lloyd Webber good at writing musicals? Oh, the sun is pink back there. Let me get a shot of that. Stormy pinkness, human weakness, fills my Johnny cup with booze. Is it booze or brew? Does anyone know? Where They Might Be Giants nerds at? Someone might be in front of the train tracks. That's gotta be the worst way to die. Being hit by a train. You just didn't listen to that Dumb Ways to Die song that Metro made years ago. I keep thinking I'm hearing footsteps, but I'm definitely just hearing the river noises. You know that river noise? That'd be a good band name. River Noise. It's getting pretty dark. I should probably leave. Have we ever figured out what Grimace is? I read somewhere that he's a giant taste bud, but that feels rather retconned by McDonald's. Like, I think they made a big purple monster. Like, I don't think it's that deep. I don't think that there's lore to Grimace. I think that McDonald's wanted a big monster, a purple monster. They had some concept art. They looked at his face. He was making a little grimace. And then they just named him that. I don't think there's that much to Grimace. I don't think he's as deep as everyone wants him to be. You know, everyone's like, what is Grimace? He's purple. I don't know. He's from McDonald's. Now, the Hamburglar, on the other hand, what the hell were they thinking with that one? That one's just a pun. There's no creativity to the Hamburglar. It's actually pretty good. Now that I say it out loud again, Hamburglar. Hamburglar. No one questions Ronald McDonald. No one questions why a giant clown is like an adult man clown, right? He's not a kid. He's an adult man dressed as a clown. No one's born a clown. I've been told I was born a clown. But no one's really born, like, a physical clown, right? But who do we get more mad at? The guy who steals hamburgers from children or the guy who gives them hamburgers? I think the Hamburglar might just be a concerned citizen concerned for the health of children, you know? Now, do I think just yoinking hamburgers out of little kids' hands is the way to go? No. But I also don't think you should just be throwing hamburgers at little kids. What if they're, like, laced with something? Has anyone done a background check on Ronald McDonald? You can't say that Grimace isn't that deep, and Ronald McDonald is deep. But the thing is, Ronald McDonald came way before Grimace. Way before Grimace, I imagine. I'd have to fact check that, actually. Look into Ronald McDonald. Mayor McCheese is valid, though.